I tried to tell my dad. My dad looked at me. I said, you know that girl I'm dating? Then he said, go tell your uncle.
You.
So I was like, what?
He already knew what was going to come out your
So then
mouth.
he said, you are not man enough to have that conversation with me. He already knew. And when it came like this, obviously mama's boy, my mother's like, that's not my child's child. Never. Never. My son could never do that. I raised him proper. My dad was already like,
Boyz Aloud, take 7.
What's up, people? We are back on Boyz Aloud, and we are sitting with the Timers, and we have Sandi, who's the father of a son, and we have Mike, who's the father of 2 daughters. 2 sons.
Three.
And
Three.
Three.
Okay.
Yeah, 3. He keeps, and then we have Mike, who's the father of 2 daughters. So let's guns blazing.
Going guns blazing. As you
Where are
can
they
see,
pointing?
Huh?
Where are they pointing?
Where they pointing? Pointing at the camera, shooting at the camera, spitting facts all around the episode.
And before you watch the video, just subscribe, like. You're gonna like it, so like it.
Yeah, like the video.
And make sure you stay tuned into IG and TikTok. Yeah, let's get it rolling.
Yeah. And don't forget to watch our previous videos. We've dropped bangers, so don't forget to check that out. And just join the family, bro.
Yeah.
Subscribe and subscribe and subscribe.
Subscribe, yeah.
So now for the timers. We got...
First
of all, like, how does it, in your mind, like, does it register that, like, I'm actually a dad? Like, is it sometimes you really just be, like, sitting down and be like, wow. I'm actually a dad? Or...
Mike, wanna go for it?
having to go to work every day reminds me I'm a dad.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the motivation. The bills, the motivation. And I guess it makes you mature. You realize that it's not just about you in life. You've got dependents. And it gives you a drive to wake up every morning and do your thing.
Okay. But I feel it's more of a purpose thing.
Yeah.
It gives you purpose. You don't wake up because you want to. You know?
100%.
You know that, okay, fine, I can be living my best life. But now I've got my offspring, my next gen, my DNA. And what am I feeding onto these young ones?
Yo, gents, actually, I'd like to suggest, bro, if you're watching this, watch this with your dad, bro. Call your dad. And sit next to your
put him on the
dad.
side and be like, look.
This is gonna probably be, I'm not roasting, but probably like the first interaction with your dad. So just watch the
this
video.
might just be the first interaction with your dad.
So that'll be like the interaction with your dad for the whole day.
So sit with your dad,
just
because like,
watch. Or uncle, all the males in the family.
There's older ones than us,
Just remember we're young dads.
Young dads, yes, because we're still feeding from the older generation. They're still spitting knowledge onto us. And you'll find that they're even more lenient on our guys than they were on us.
Oh, true.
You see, so we still learn. It's a balance or download of software, continuous download of software from one gen to the next, and so on and so forth.
So do you determine, like, if you're gonna keep the download, you're gonna stay similar to your dad, you're gonna do your own type of things?
Yeah, true.
So with each lesson, or with each download, right? Remember, you download, but how you use it. How you use it is key, because you're not in their time, you're in your time. Right? And when you pass it on, you need to bear in mind that whoever you're passing on to is in their time and not in your time. But the key, remember, there's no manual to parenting. There's no manual. It's just tap and go, but you know, come back.
But that's why I think, like, I agree, certain things need to change, like in terms of like disciplining your children, like hitting them, right? Because my parents haven't hit me before, and I personally think I'm fine, you know what I'm saying? But then back in the day, since like change of things, maybe it'll still be okay now. You get what I'm trying to say?
But if you what you're saying now, if you look at the older generations, trauma was passed down. That's one thing I can say, is that it came from a strict dad. His son thought he was strict. He had to be strict, and it had to pass down like that. Now when you say, in terms of you've never been hit, some kids, you hit them, they stay in line based on personality, obviously.
Yeah.
And then the ones you don't hit, they walk a smooth path.
Yeah.
So it always depends on the information, like you say, the download, how you filter it, and who you give
Where
it
you
to.
actually-
Who
but
you
I-
give
but
your
then-
child now.
But I do think like then that's where the misunderstanding comes in with the being in my time, but making sure that when I come to a certain situation, you're still in your time. You understand? Because like that could play part in like understanding whatever's at hand in general. And isn't it that now I'm a 2000. Don't you guys feel like you have to be more in our time than any other time when there's something at hand or like something that's just not normal to you guys? Yeah. This is outrageous. This is why are these kids like this? Don't you think you have to be like more in our time, more in our like train of thought? Because I do agree with the saying like it's a different time, same problems, right? Which is very true. But then like to a certain extent, it's not the same, you know, because it's different minds at the end of the day. We'll be different fathers at the end of the day. So like,
firstly, I'd like to re-emphasize on what you just touched on. To say that there's a saying that goes, "There's nothing new under the sun." Right? Different times, same problems. Right? But same problems with a different kind of view now. Right? But also, remember this, Mike's and I's generations are considered the dangerous generation. Because remember, we come from a gen before technology. Right? And we were in the inception when technology hits. We were so we can dabble between the two worlds. Right? So hence, I can fully follow or fully agree with the statement that there's nothing new under the sun. The problems back then, before technology, are no different than the problems with technology now, all right? But because you can see through the BS, if I may say, you can be able to utilize everything, and therefore, how we administer the lessons to you. We've been there. We're seeing what's happening here, and we're trying to find middle ground to say, hey, boy, don't stray from the path. I know what it is when you go left. I know what it is when you go right. Let's keep it.
I think it's how dads deliver it. Like they don't say, hey, my son, don't go left, don't go. They're like, hey, you go left, I'ma show you.
But I think
like, it depends.
I think it's for a reason because how I would see a dad is that like a dad gives that tough love. So not everything is gonna be soft. Like hey, don't go there, don't go there. It's hey. Like they emphasizing the fact that.
But
like,
I just
sometimes
think,
you need. I think sometimes the soft love you can call it using tough love. From a dad is also good because then, even though there's a relationship like dad and son, it's still male. You know, you still have to connect in a way that you're helping your son or your offspring to be a better version of yourself that you feel.
I just think that, but if you're gonna say hey. As a mother or a dad, you must tell me why. You can't say, hey, I'm older, I know, don't go there. Tell me why.
It's kids like there should be a why.
So if I can press on that, right? Like you were saying, it's a different time. Foundation is foundation. No matter how you build a house, 3 stories, 4 stories, you still need a foundation. So every parent...
And that's where you maximize on.
Every parent is passing down what their parent had, and then we give you a foundation. Yes, now, back in the day, they said, go to school, get an education, go work. Now you can do YouTube. But at the end of the day, they needed to make you understand there's things like budgeting. Don't waste your money. Don't party uncontrollably.
And those are all the same problems that we...
And it's all a foundation. It's a foundation.
Now.
Back in the day, people, we partied until the sun came up. Now, kids are doing drugs. Same problem, foundation would have been, if your father taught you properly, you would be able to handle peer pressure. You wouldn't need...
And that's where the tough love comes in.
That's why you're going to be like, hey. Emphasizing the problem.
Because the mother will say, my child, don't, don't. And then now if you have 2 of those in a house...
Hey.
I'm like, how do
That's the thing.
Especially
if you use an example of drugs. Drugs are like bad. And there's problems with it. Like, don't take drugs. I was like... Nah, he or she said, don't take drugs. But if they were like emphasis, like, hey, don't take drugs, like, whoa, okay, it's a big thing. You understand?
But you know what's crazy?
What?
Even now, they can do that, but we're still
not gonna listen.
Drugs.
That's what I'm saying.
Then I don't care.
Yeah.
But usually, if a parent can tell you about an experience, it's very different for someone to say, don't do this, but they never experienced it.
Yeah.
But if your parent can be like, listen, guys, I used to do this, and yeah, you don't want to.
That
At
part
the end of
doesn't end well.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. I was talking to my mom, even though it's a dad episode. I'm like, why do parents like not tell? They tell the kids the dangers of drugs. Well, they don't tell them. Even tell them at a later age. But they wait for like their children to find it out from other people. Because when you find, for example, like drugs from other people, you're only gonna know the advantages. You're not gonna know the cons. But like if my mom or dad were to tell me from the get-go, from like the beginning of high school, that hey, you're gonna come across kids in grade 11 and 12 that are probably doing drugs, but hear the bad stuff. You know what I'm trying to say? Because you get
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. This is what your mom told you, right? Okay, fair enough. What did your dad say?
That's a good question.
What did your dad say
about drugs? I didn't talk to my dad about it.
Okay.
But it's not because I didn't want to. It's because he went to work and my mom was off. But
what I'm feeding off from you is you went on the softer approach.
100%.
You went, whereas had you had that conversation with your dad, first thing most probably would have gotten hate.
Yeah, that's the thing. I agree.
But that hate.
So it was fear.
Now here's
fear.
Here's a communication between dads and their children.
Yeah.
Right. That tough love. I don't need to use words as much. It's more of actions and what I'm doing for and around you and to you. You get me?
Yeah.
So that's the lesson in it. Now, for instance, if it can go either way. If I know I've laid enough foundation for you, you know every tone of my hey.
Yeah.
Which is this a hey good or hey if I've laid the belt or if I've laid enough foundation, you will know where I'm coming from. We can joke, but there's that
look.
No words like
Just keep quiet.
Then you know, but okay, let me.
Sons, don't you feel dads prepare you for the world? Don't you feel, because we show you how bad it can get out there. In terms of people are not gonna smile with you. Your mother will be there to catch the hey man, you jump on the mother.
Hey part, you know, it prepares you for that.
Because you're gonna get, when you guys start working in your working environment, you're gonna get that manager that feels nothing.
Who's gonna ride?
He's here for money.
He
cares nothing about your feelings. But if you know that your father taught you how to be able to have a thick skin, in a sense, you'll be able to handle such situations.
I took up my phone because my mom, she basically said
Dropping Mama's voice.
I need me that hoodie. But shout out to my dad as well. Children that show disrespect to their moms, right? But they fear their fathers. But moms, even though, for example, as you said, when the dad goes hate to the child and like disciplines the child, somehow the mom will always come back to nurture them. But dads won't go back because it's the form of discipline, like you mentioned, right? Yeah, but my problem with that is that dads are not good at saying, let's sit down and talk about it, because they feel like they're showing us off the side.
Okay.
I feel like they'll only do that maybe when something has happened. Because I feel like to a certain extent, dads, they maybe want you to experience first, like just live, and then when anything happens, then you will go back. Because even you as a guy, if you're down bad, like bad, you know how your mom will be. Your mom will panic and all of that. Then you'll be like, you know what, my dad is calm about it. Let me go sit down with my dad. You know, that type of thing.
So, Mike, please correct me on this one. Né? Raising boys, guys, it's quite a challenge. It is, because you don't know how far you should push or how much pressure you should apply. It's always like you're never sure where's the breaking point of your child, right? For instance, loosely, and I say this loosely, dads teach their sons so you want to play with fire?
Play, you
know? And then you come back, run past the dad, go straight to mom. Mommy, it hurts. You know? Dad knows that you never gonna. When mommy the next morning, when mommy says, "Don't play near the stove," you know exactly what mom is talking about, because dad let you get burned. But then that's the type of lessons dads offer. You get me? The tough ones. Okay, you want to find out. What they call it, F around and find out. The graph. The more you F around, the more you're gonna find out. So we are ahead of the graph for you already. And we can tell your scale of effing around, okay, now you are here, I can still manage this. I am already foreseeing what comes next. And this is why you'll find that growing up, your dad is more tough on you, he's less communicative, and so forth. But that gap breaches as you get older and older and older.
Yeah.
To such an extent, right? My relationship with my dad currently, I can even offer counsel.
100%.
I can. We are. And I know he's my father, right? And there's that certain level of respect. But we can actually sit down, mano imano.
Yeah.
You know, subonisane, like, okay, so what's this? What were you thinking here? And what's have you tried this? Look, once I went through this in life, be careful of this. The lessons what you're asking for now, you are still being prepared for. Because if you get them now, it's gonna be in the 1 year.
Out the other one.
So
Out the next.
do you feel that what fathers do is they allow you to go, do your thing, right? Until you get to a point now where you are ready to have
actually
adult conversations.
Or to
where-
actually hear the message
Yes.
they have for you.
Because I think with my father, that was a huge thing, majority of my life. Was I thought, this guy
Doesn't care. And
I'm always, all he does is shout. That's what I felt, right?
yeah.
Majority of the time. And he's a quiet guy. He never said much. My mother was obviously, the one. But as I got older now, we actually sat and he explained why. Because
didn't it all come together?
now it makes 100% sense. My children will think I'm the villain. I don't care.
We are the villains, guys.
But guys, I
Unfortunately,
promise
that's
you,
the
when you
burden we
get
have
to
carry.
this age, you will understand why we were like this. And I tell my kids all the time that I'm preparing you for what life comes. So I've got daughters, so gents are, it's tough.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's extremely tough.
You need to prepare them. You need to prepare them for the gen side.
You understand? So now I need to make my girls tough, but still keep them feminine. And I still need to allow them to understand that, okay, you still need to be able to be a mother, but still be able to beat this guy up if he tries anything. So I've got that tough love, but I see it working because they now are able to talk to me.
Yeah.
So, like, you guys have this thing, that's nice. But this is for the generation that missed it. So I'm at the generation now where I can see it's different, and I'm pressing that communication. I've got daughters, so I have to. The boys, on the other hand, we can give the leash.
The rope is longer.
Yeah.
But
With
there's
the
that
girls,
one.
Exactly.
You're going too far now.
Wait, so are we saying what what the mothers are doing is like not like good? Because no. But listen, because I'm saying this because and I know I'm answering my question like I'm answering my own thing, but like you guys said like you let your son or your child run and go touch the fire. You let him, although you know he was gonna get burnt because you've seen it. You same time, different time, same problem. But then you still let them go, and then they run past you and went to the mother. And the mother coddled them. So, but then you're still gonna allow it.
Okay.
So like
Because you usually only learn from experiencing.
so
You can't stop a child from experiencing. That's the unfortunate thing. If we could experience life for you, we would.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, I'll say,
makes
don't do
sense.
drugs. And they'll be like, yeah, okay, daddy, I won't. And
you're
then
still gonna do it.
you go off and then you try it. Then you come to me now when you're addicted. Daddy, save me. And then now you want the dad to be like, okay, yes. The mother usually jumps in. The father will be like, I told you. Now you're there.
So basically, but like in hindsight, it's like we're saying then there's no point of the mother to something.
No, duality.
From what I'm-
Duality. There's a left
Let
and
me
a right
reiterate.
there.
Because then how? Okay.
Let me reiterate, right? A mother's aspect is very much necessary to soften the blow of the hardness that we or preparing you for, right? Remember, when you shoot past us and go straight to mom, to soften that blow. When mom says, but my boy, why didn't, or don't do this, or don't do that, you're gonna know now that, I effed around and found out. And that's where, hence, we're the villains. We are back of the bus, back of the show, behind the curtains. But we foresee your life. We guide you silently as you grow. Once you reach a certain level of maturity, then we pass down that chapter's information or whatsoever, chapter by chapter, every stage of your life. So let's start with this, puberty. Puberty. Who's closer to you during puberty, your mother or your father?
That's an easy answer for me.
Go for it.
Bro, I'm
Well,
not
what's
gonna
your
lie,
answer?
I don't think I was closer to either of my parents.
During puberty.
Me too.
So, you got stonies and you told none of your parents.
No, I didn't tell them actually.
What?
No, I didn't.
What's stonies? Am I
No, you
tweaking?
know when your things your nipples
Your
get
nipples
like
get-
harder.
They call those, they call those
As you're going
stonies.
through
Bro, I don't know how to call that. Stonies.
They're like painful.
I never
Like
know like
going through,
stonies.
Yeah. No, but I never told my parents. Like I never ever felt the need to tell my parents things like
About
that.
Yeah.
puberty. But like
Yeah.
So
maybe
you soldiered when
But,
I great up.
but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
because of how you were brought up at the end of the day. So your dad,
And-
at a stage, probably was like, my son is mature enough to handle certain
It
things.
doesn't mean that
and he
he
didn't
sees.
have to. He didn't think that, okay, it's a lost
not
cause.
going through
He's
it,
just,
yeah.
I trust Wele enough to
Go through it.
go through stuff and then, so you'll come to me when you need me.
Yeah.
Other people had nothing like that, where you go through something and you run. You choose a parent, obviously. Whoever you want the easier answer from, usually the mothers. But you
Most
run.
likely.
Most of the
Yeah.
Yeah, most likely
It's
it's
usually
the
the
mothers to help
mothers,
you
yeah.
deal with the change. With the dads, he sees what's happening and he'll be like, Nkosikazi,
Yeah.
go forth, you know? Because they know that the softer side will get you to communicate more.
they'll get you to
I'm
understand.
I'm gonna get feedback from the mother saying, okay, hey, this is what's happening and what's then I know, oh, so you here now. Then I need to start preparing for the next chapter of your life. Right? Then when you get there, when you get there, I would have been prepared for the chapter after that.
It's a
So
joint,
so
it's a joint
wait,
venture.
so basically you're saying like you're ahead of the mother.
It's a
Not
no,
ahead of the mother.
It's a joint venture.
It's a joint
So
venture.
the mother will be feeding what you are afraid to tell your dad, right? And the father has to enforce, if you want to look at it that way.
Yes.
Because you could be saying, I have a girlfriend now, right?
Yeah.
For example. Now your mother tells your father now knows when things go bad. Hey,
I start preparing,
Welile is doing things that are, you know,
That-
Yeah.
your father will then be like, okay, now you have a girlfriend. This is
the
where,
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a joint venture. No role is more important than the other.
Exactly.
They have to go together.
So like, what happens if it happens that a child has only a dad, not a mom? How does that dad, for example, do both roles?
Like
maybe that you know people
Or like other way around, mom has to do dad and mom at the same time.
You're gonna have to learn to be able
or
to.
dad-
be able to
you,
do
you
both.
have,
Yeah.
and
So
it's
because-
extremely hard because how do you be hard and soft at the same time?
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do you tell someone, hit someone 1 minute and the next minute you
Don't.
Yeah, that's true.
And hence I said
that's
there's
why
no-
they have to work together in
Yeah.
a way. You need
Exactly.
that joint
And
venture.
remember, guys, there's no manual to this.
It's like it's just a machine.
we're learning as it goes.
You learn as
Yeah.
you go. And hence I said our generation, we still feel off from our parents. Those of us lucky
And I'm
enough
sure
to
you-
still have them.
And I'm sure you feeling off from your parents now. You appreciate that because at least you have some guidance somewhere.
It,
Hey,
al-
but
it
please.
always, it
Sons,
always,
don't our parents say, yeah,
No.
you should. Now your child is doing what you
No,
do to us.
Like, go to
Yeah.
your grands. Go to your grands. You're the star of the earth. And but with your
Yeah.
immediate parents, you're like, yo, these guys are
Yeah.
battering me. Like I'm
Battering you.
dishing it. But meanwhile, your parents are getting it from your grands. And they're still getting the beating. Why when's umntwana so? You know? But when they come to you, they're like, yeah. Because that's when they actually can relax and trust your parents, which I think
You
have
did
done
a
a good
good
job
job.
with you. Now, you raising your own will show me how much of my teachings have you learned.
100%.
It always boils down, even though there's no manual for this, it always boils down to a point of reference. Nothing new under the sun, but there's always a point of reference.
And to a certain extent, it will kind of be the same regardless of time.
Regardless. And this is why you need to build on the foundation. Foundation is key. Now, get you guys, yeah, but why don't you tell me why? Okay, I can tell you why. I can tell you why. But right now, you're not ready to hear
But
the
Sons,
why.
do you know, do you guys understand why there's PG, 18,
13,
16.
16.
There's reasons why certain information is leaked to a certain age because your maturity only allows you to understand to a certain point. I cannot tell a 5-year-old about tax. It's important. It's impossible, I mean.
What scared me, the grade 3s, grade 4s, grade 5s are now learning about the birds and the bees. And
What's that?
6.
Oh.
That early. I don't know. Can I?
He's got a different name for it.
Can I quickly download a software? I don't know. Update my lingo. I don't know. It's making me feel
Babs.
old, guys.
Nah, so in this, like, when you learn, everything has been fast-tracked. That's one thing I've noticed. Is everything where I learned
Later
at this
on,
time.
it's
Now you guys,
now.
but you have to. The unfortunate thing is you guys have to. Because you either get left behind. People waited until varsity to learn coding. Now kids are learning coding in primary school. So the world is moving faster. So yeah, it's scary for them.
We're a do or die.
Yeah.
We're a do or die regime, basically.
So now we're trying to just say, okay, even though you've heard that information, just slow down or use it carefully. Because now everything is you take your phone out, you get everything.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, you only got access to that stuff when you got to a certain...
Now we can get access to almost anything.
Anything now. 10-year-olds.
And that will have to make you guys even a bit more harder now.
You just touch
You understand?
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
it makes it worse because now if we don't have that communication like what you guys are trying to get here, your child is going that way. You're going to rely on an older friend for guidance more than your father because you're going to think I'm just trying to stop everything. Whereas when I can talk to you and be like, okay, hey, you want a girlfriend now? Okay. And then I explain, be a gentleman. Don't do this. Don't rush this. Don't be in a rush to experience this and so forth.
And be careful of one, two, or the other.
Yeah. Or you'll be a young dad on a podcast.
What I wanted to touch on when I said you touched the nerve there, social media, guys. Remember when social media started hitting hard, that was in our generation.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as popping as it is now.
Yeah.
The monster that it is now, and I heard you guys on one of the episodes speaking on social media. Remember when it hit, it was still new to us. Now everything is just content, what you're addicted to and not so heavy, right? The message I want to push is, this is a powerful tool. How you use it can be for your betterment or your detriment. That's what I think. That's what the now generation fails to realize, how powerful of a tool social media is.
Dopamine, boy. Dopamine.
It's
that rush. It's that rush.
rush.
Have a child, you're on your own. My children came out. My dad used to just do this.
Refer to page.
Yeah. Be like, interesting. Daddy, the child's crying. Can I go out with my friends?
He doesn't even answer. He's like, he's making you think.
And then I used to take my mother out all the time, leave me there with twins. Can you imagine?
How they hooked it up with me was similar to that. When I said, hey, Petru, so we saw. All he did, he just said like this. My dad is old school. And yes, that man has got a poker face for days. He just said like this. And said nothing. The next thing I hear my mother telling me what
he said.
Like nothing. The next words out of him was like, I thought I had a child. No? But he said it in vernacular. Like, I thought I thought I had a child. Now my child is making a child. So that means my child is no longer a child.
I tried to tell my dad. My dad looked at me. I said, you know that girl I'm dating? Then he said, go tell your uncle. So I was like, what?
He already knew what was going to come out your mouth.
So then he said, you are not man enough to have that conversation with me. He already knew. And when it came like this, obviously mama's boy, my mother's like, that's not my child's child. Never. Never. My son could never do that. I raised him proper. My dad was already like,
that's it.
When I said, don't let him go out, like my dad used to say, my mother used to say, go. That was my mother. You see, being the nice person.
Yeah.
Why not let him go with his friends? It's nothing. And my dad used to be like, no.
You know,
There where he's going,
like,
I don't trust.
You
Then
know.
when it happened, my dad was like,
there
there you go.
It's
Actually,
always experience, though.
Actually, fathers are more results driven
Yeah.
than more emotional. And that's how we instill
Yeah, that makes sense.
that foundation. Yes, we can be emotional and whatsoever you, but we won't show that to you. You know, we won't show that to you because I'm still the head of the house. If I break down now,
Yeah.
right? If I break
Like
down
break
now,
down, like emotionally.
like
Yeah.
break down,
Emotionally,
In front of the family.
Yeah.
would you take me to a fight or would you go to
Yes,
war with
I
me?
would.
I still would. I'm
I
not gonna
would.
lie, but it depends because
would.
if you think about it, it depends. You'll feel a bit insecure. You'll be like, yo, can I still trust this guy? But then that just shows me that you're more human, though.
Exactly.
The thing is, that's-
Okay, but
Yeah.
what you're saying is
Yeah.
cool because we put our parents on a pedestal, 100%, right? We should because if I don't want to get thinking about God, you put him on a pedestal,
Yeah.
right? You follow the
hierarchy.
commandments.
Yes.
Yeah.
You follow all of it. But now if you just thought as, this is my bra, this is a friend of mine, you wouldn't, if I said anything to you, you'd probably be like, "Psh,"
That makes
and then
sense,
move
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Hey,
You see.
yabo?
Eesh.
That's where they hey.
So you
comes in.
need, exactly. So you need that sense of, okay, yeah, this guy has got that godlike tendencies.
true.
So
And-
my dad is strong. Superman,
He
all of
need- he
those,
needs
all
to be
those
there.
superheroes.
So
You never
that
saw
you can
them
come
cry.
there and not compare him to anyone else who can,
But literally crying doesn't make you any less of whatever you think you are.
That's
bruh.
what I'm saying.
But the thing
I
is that,
agree.
It doesn't make you
Actually-
any less godly,
but the-
bro. God himself is vulnerable if you have faith. So what's
Yeah.
say you're a human being? Why are you trying to be like so
but you're, hey,
be human?
Yeah,
bruh?
Like there's
At the
nothing
end of
wrong.
the day,
There's
there's
nothing wrong. Like when you want to cry, you can cry. In terms of like being strong all the time, knowing that.
Do you know? Do you
yeah,
know crying actually shows strength?
In my opinion.
So me
Yeah,
personally,
but
for me
bro,
personally,
you show strength. There's
Gents,
no bar,
I don't cry. So
Yeah,
me
so
personally,
I
I don't
think
cry, and I've never seen
'Cause-
any man
Cry. Because my thing is that, okay, now I
it's
understand.
because what is that difficult that you have
Yeah,
to
you have to cry about.
Because
And-
we, like you say, results driven.
and can I ask?
Yeah, I understand.
Can I ask?
We're gonna cry at a loss.
What is it gonna
at a
help
loss
you
of
with if you
family.
do cry? What is it
That's-
gonna help you with if you do cry? If
The
you-
thing
if-
is-
if-
Okay.
Crying doesn't help you in anything. Nah.
Yeah.
It just shows you that you're human that has feelings.
but like if you
Yeah.
cry
Okay,
because
but
of the
what,
situation,
what does that benefit you?
what will that benefit
Me-
you from?
Okay, I'm gonna use my own testimony.
Okay.
I've only seen my dad cry once, and it wasn't anything bad. It was joy because his younger sister, got married, and that showed me that my dad is actually like he has feelings. Because before I'm like, nah, this
Well,
guy.
with joy.
he's
Apart
like,
from that,
Nah, that's
apart from that, right? He was crying tears of joy, right?
not-
For his sister.
stuff.
Have you seen him cry?
Cry in front of the table, like when it's like,
When
Just
it's
you
tough.
guys.
Just you guys.
When it's tough.
no,
Have you?
no,
Why do you think?
because I'm gonna answer my question, but then
Imagine your dad came back from work and it was the worst day of his life and cried.
yeah, it'll be.
I'm not saying don't cry if your parent
Yeah.
passes or there's a loss in the family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at even stages like that, you need to hold it together because 9 out of 10, everyone's crying. Imagine everyone's crying now. No one's doing anything about it.
Yeah.
And usually you
Everyone
want
else
the
is-
father, the head of the house, to be able to be like, okay, hey, go cry in the back, sure.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
in front of my
Come
family,
back here
Yeah,
and
in
have
front
your
of-
ish together.
And
Like,
I also
okay,
feel
sure.
like-
Put
Yeah.
your big boy pants on and keep it moving.
Yeah, and I feel like also like even like man to man, it's kind of like dangerous if another man also like sees you crying like in public because hey, you never know what other men are out there for, especially that you're a father. You're like, okay, he's a father, he's crying here. Can he protect his kids if he's like this is gonna be in a breakdown? You see now.
Okay,
it's
so
So
I-
but
okay,
that means crying shows weakness. Then if someone cries, you question if they can
Subconsciously,
trust.
it
For-
does.
for me
Subconscious.
personally-
It does. Whether
Okay, maybe-
whether we care to realize or recognize it or not,
Yeah.
subconsciously there is that element that you're a crybaby, you will not be able to survive in the real world.
Yeah.
So wait, so is that good or bad?
it's
What?
so do you feel like,
That whole
crying.
idea is
Of
it,
crying.
Yeah.
so Welile, do you think that you need to be tough in order, at school? Imagine you're getting bullied and cried every day.
Okay.
yeah. You see like
No,
for every situation,
I'm just trying to
Make
get
an
to a point
analogy.
is
Yeah.
that the world
put
is tough.
context into
Yes,
it.
you can
Yeah.
come cry at home in your room
your
before
room,
you sleep.
yeah,
Do
yeah.
what
Yeah.
do what you have to. But showing another gent that but I'm broken now.
Yeah, no.
Usually, they lose respect.
Yeah,
Or they'll be like, they cry, baby, cry, baby.
What I mentioned earlier was a bad example because that was tears which I see made me realize that. Well, if I, like when I see my mom cry, I'm like, damn, it's bad. But if I were to see my dad cry, I was gonna be like, Joe, yeah, it's chai. Like now in the thick of it.
Yeah, true.
But at the same time, I don't view crying as a bad thing though, because it does show you that like you're mentally responding to a problem in your life and you're tearing up and you're crying because it hurts you. But then it also shows you that you can escape it if you've got what I'm trying to say. Like crying doesn't really show that like you're weak or you're like feminine, like you but like it also shows that like it's not that you're responding to a problem. You're not like a superhero.
And I want to go into that because now there are guys like our age, like young like us, who are obviously our fathers, of course, but like those guys are more feminine than masculine. Like they say feminine masculinity. Like the guys who are not so like a gent, like they'll chill with girls. Okay. You understand? And things, and not necessarily that they are like gay or they're not straight. But that's just how they are. Yeah. And to some extent, you find that those people practice their crying muscle more, right, than the normal or what it should be, and they're doing like less of what should be done in terms of crying, in terms of being vulnerable, in front of their friends, in front of other guys at school, in front of their parents, in front of the family at the table, right? So is that a problem?
Crying is not a bad thing. I'll start there. Secondly, if you do it all the time, like Mike said, there's that element of, oh, okay, you crying, you're not doing anything about it. You're just crying. It's like dopamine for likes.
Yeah.
If I may put it young talk. You get likes. He's more feminine. You get more feminine energy directed towards you.
Yeah.
With any alpha species likes feminine attention, right? But now, when you look at it from a male's perspective, or from a male's perspective, what are you doing? You're just crying. But are you actually acting?
Where's the action?
Yes.
Where's the action?
Are you acting on it?
Where's
yes, you're letting off a load. That's why you'll find most of us go to a corner, do all the crying we need, don't destabilize my immediate family, right? So that when I come back, I'm still the superhero. They see me, not just think that I am, but they see me to be, right? I don't want to cause any destabilization of any sort with my castle.
Because you're meant to be the actioner. You're
Because
supposed
then when there is no solution, nothing at all.
And we're all crying.
Yeah, I think that separates a man from a boy. Like boys are the ones that cry and go to their mom and like they don't know how to deal with the problem, and when there's another problem they're gonna cry again. But a man or a dad is that person who cries when there's a problem but fixes it, and when there's another problem he uses the past experience to deal with it, but not crying.
You cry to lighten the load.
Yeah.
You cry to lighten the load. You put your big boy pants on.
But doesn't sometimes keeping in that load make you or drive you?
Yeah.
Because you know that I need to fix this.
Yeah, true.
You understand? Like, the load will be lifted once it's done. That's where my stance comes on, the crying thing. But also, now there's a thing where guys are keeping it all in, right? And now we're becoming abusive, we're becoming...
That's the dangerous aspect
suicide is high with gents, all of this, right? It's because now a narrative has been pushed, unfortunately, with guys where we need to be more feminine. Right? You need to cry. You need to show vulnerability, even if it's just to your partner, to your kids. I agree with your kids. You need to now, because you guys have social media, unfortunately. Everything is just, hey, men need to cry, men need to cry.
Mainstream.
And then now you've got this hard dad that has never even smiled. Or most kids think their fathers don't smile. Mine think I don't smile. Right? But I think that if someone spoke out, I want to say crying, but vulnerability. I think if gents were more vulnerable with each other in a sense, we would be able to curb that way. I need to sit in the corner by myself and have all these thoughts, because the mind is a very powerful thing. You understand? So if you just spoke about it to someone, whether it's your mother, father, but be vulnerable in that sense. But don't cry to cripple you. That's my thing.
That makes sense.
Don't let everyone see you crumble and do nothing, because people stop listening.
Terry Crews, right? Terry Crews, long time ago, he was vulnerable about his addiction. He's a celebrity. He let the whole world know that he's been struggling with this from a child, right? And he got a lot of hate from male, like tough dad, and woman. But in my opinion, that was a good way of him being vulnerable, because it helped other children who were dealing with the same problem to become a better man, you know?
Okay.
But he didn't cry.
No, he
cried.
He cried, but like he didn't cry.
Can I just say, like, isn't there a difference between the word father and man?
Nah,
There's a to some extent for me, because I feel like that's where we also just get it so mixed up, and there's some misunderstanding, because I don't think father and man are the same thing, bro.
They're not the same. You're a man before you're a father.
Yes.
Or you're supposed to be.
That's
That's the whole point. If you follow it properly.
Man is gender.
Exactly.
That's all it is. Man is gender.
Because there's also a difference between a dad and a father.
Yes. What's the difference between a dad and a father?
like most people that don't have their dad, okay, I'm gonna just say dad in their life, they call them father. But people that have their dads in their life, they call them
like
dad.
how
So
you, can
you make
refer
a
to
child-
pastor as a father.
You make a child, you're a dad. Take care of your child, your father.
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't treat him nice as your father,
okay,
but
okay.
you treat him while you're there, you're present
But then,
as a dad.
okay, if we're saying the word man is like refers to gender, but then we walk around saying things like you must be a man. So like, what do you mean, bro? Like, what do you mean if being a man is to be a boy?
You see, now that's where the context
Like-
changes. There's man, as in mankind. There's a man, as in an elderly version of a male species. Right? It all depends on context of how you use man. How you're using it, however. Right? Be a man, meaning toughen up.
Yeah.
That's what it means, yeah.
Toughen up.
You know, I don't like that saying. Though.
Why?
Right.
Toughen up.
I don't like that beer, man. I don't like all that, bro.
So why would you like people to refer to you as be a what?
rather say toughen up than say be a man.
No, because if you
I
look
feel
at
like
it,
that word has
Whether it's be a man or toughen up, are you getting the message?
that's the thing.
I'll probably get it more honestly if you say tough.
But then what are you toughening up to? The reason they say be a man is because it's a reference to back in the day.
Point of reference.
Back in the day, there were men that went to
I kinda
war.
get it.
There were men that had to
all of
switch
that.
off your emotions in order to protect your family. You had to go and hunt. You had to go do all those things. That was being a man.
You didn't
So
want to.
You
It
couldn't
was
wake
hard.
up in the
You could have
morning and
stayed there
say,
and cried.
That's
but
the
you
same
had
thing.
to go.
You could have stayed cozy and watched Netflix, but you woke
So
up in
that's
the
why they
morning
say
to go to
be a
work.
man.
True.
Yeah.
Be a man.
That's-
Okay, that makes sense. Okay,
I like that. I like that
like it,
analogy.
yeah.
Who needs Andrew Tate now? You know what I'm saying? I got a mini Andrew Tate, yeah. That is facts, though. A kind of version. Nah, but like,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I
It's just
agree.
that for me, like the crying thing, I get it that we need to cry and all of that. But one thing is that you don't want to make it a habit because you are going to go through problems. Maybe
Yeah.
almost every day.
You can't cry
And you
every time. I
cannot
get
cry.
that.
Yeah, I understand
all
that.
the
Cry
time.
all the
Like,
time.
that's why even
But
that thing of
normalizing-
being a man as well
Yeah.
is that like there are battlefields that you're going to go through. And you need to be a man in a sense that like toughen up, you know? You cannot cry all the time because it becomes a habit.
But-
and like you said, you're
Yeah.
going to then cripple yourself, you know? That's why I feel like even when men keep things inside, don't use the excuse that you wanna cry. Speak about it, bro. Like, don't hold it in
And
you know?
cry.
And cry.
Yeah.
Just speak about it
Yeah,
and address
so,
the matter to
so that means
me.
you're contradicting with what they say, because then they
Oh.
would cry and still keep it in.
No.
Like
Because he said you cry in like
he said
the behind the scenes.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's saying
No, like I'm
he-
saying, ne? If you went through a tough day and all of that, ne?
Yeah.
Sharp, if it's that bad, okay, cry. But all I'm just saying, as a man, or humans also, we go through things. And you cannot have this thing of every time you go through something, you want to cry. If it's that bad and you cannot hold, okay, cry. But understand that if you go through situations, instead of bottling in, rather speak about it.
Let me
Then having the excuse of crying about it.
let me put more context into it. Okay?
Okay, I get you, bro.
So what you say,
Okay, I get.
you
I
on the
get what
mark,
you're saying.
right?
Okay.
Now, we said you find your little corner,
Yeah.
you let it all out.
Yeah.
So that mentally it doesn't get a bit much. But after that, it's like taking your 2-minute breather. But okay. Right?
Yeah.
Then you affirm yourself. I don't know how, but I got this. You get out there, you do it.
Okay.
You do it. When we say cry, that's what we mean. Take your
breather.
Take your breather. If it means breaking down, guys, life, as simple as it may be, is quite difficult, right? And it will hit you on all angles. And your body physically, not just mentally or emotionally, physically cannot take it at times. You will shut down and everything. Imagine being hit emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, all coming into this one body, right? And then the one mistake you're gonna make, you have no outlet. That's the first mistake you're gonna make.
You need an outlet.
You need an outlet.
Start boxing. Hey. Start MMA. Hit someone in the face. You'll feel much better than crying.
Oh, but honestly, but then to a certain extent, that's like not gonna work for you, because rather speak about it.
Why?
Why should I go through? Why should I be hit spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally, hold it in and go throw that into something else when I could speak about it and get help?
So Lile,
listen.
what you're saying is find an outlet. That's what you're saying. You're saying the outlet should be to speak.
That's an outlet.
So everyone has a different
Speaking is an
coping
outlet.
method, right? Some people will cry. Some people will go to the gym. It's all just a release. You just want that to feel better. So the reason why men usually don't cry is because what you used to do is go and fight.
Yeah.
So you didn't have time. You just went and fought, and it was solved.
But now the challenge with that became
Choosing the right outlet.
you fight, but you don't know when to stop. And then you bring the fight back home.
Yeah.
I also think choosing the wrong outlet, because that's what separates our man from a boy. Because you can be a boy and have a beard and all of that, but then when you're overwhelmed with all of these things, you choose the wrong outlet. Like abusing
Some
your
people
wife.
use alcohol.
Yeah, with alcohol.
abuse
and all of that. That's the
100%.
wrong outlet.
Yeah.
And that also goes back down to how you were raised, maybe from your father and all of that, like how they taught you. Instead of saying, okay, if you're going through this, don't go on to alcohol and stuff.
No, the thing is, it's rare to get that from your father, because you rarely see your father like cry in the background, because you don't know what your father's doing when he's feeling that state. So it's gonna be hard for you to see what you're gonna do when you're in that position.
So can I ask you guys? So you guys are obviously old enough now to have said you've seen how your father deals with stuff, right?
Yeah.
No, if you've just seen in your life, because remember, children learn from their parents.
Yes.
So 90% of your coding is you've watched your parents and you mimic it as you get older. So
Not for you. Okay.
Some things, I don't think so. No.
but so a child's learning stage is from 0 to 7. That's usually the stage where you are watching the most. Then you go to school and your friends start interfering and dropping their gems.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, we usually watch our parents, and that's where you usually get your outlet. You see your dad, or if he drinks a lot, and then you think you start until you find the one that works with you, you start dabbling. Okay, alcohol, cool, no, gym, okay, no, MMA, whatever, and then you start going like that until you feel comfortable in the one that works for you.
That works for you.
Now everyone wants to push the thing of talk. We can talk, boy. We can talk until next year, but if we don't do anything about it, what was the point?
No, but speaking is a step forward. It is doing something.
A lot of people talk.
It's an art.
How many? I don't want to bash women, but how many girls talk to their partners, but that guy must come up with the solution.
Yeah.
So now, who's gonna come up with your solution when you just talking? I was brought up by my dad. He never wanted problems. He always said to me, come with your solution. I'll give you a perfect example. I wanted a laptop. And I was saying to my dad, I want to try this new thing. I want to, do graphics, what. And he listened. 15 minutes. And he sat there. And then at the end, I was expecting him to offer me the laptop.
Yeah.
And then he said, are you asking me for something? And I
Which
sat there
was,
going,
in actual fact,
exactly.
true.
And then he said, ask me what you want to ask me. And then I asked, hey, do you have an old laptop there? Now shy and scared.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, okay, cool. I have one at home. And that's how it came. But do you understand my point?
Oh, okay.
I
That
said
makes sense.
stressed,
That makes sense.
wanting a laptop.
That makes sense.
But instead of just coming with a solution, sometimes it's easier to go to someone and just say, I have this problem. This is my solution. Do you think it'll work? Yes or no? instead of going and saying, this is my problem. And now waiting for you to come up with a solution.
But at the end of the day, both scenarios are still talking.
Yeah,
whatever you're doing is
but what I'm saying
speaking like.
But come with a solution-driven thing instead of a problem-driven. We all have problems. That's why the be a man still comes into it. We all have problems, but we need you as a father.
On that aspect of talking, right? I'm going to dabble between two topics that we touched on. I said earlier on counsel. You need a counsel. That's when you talk. Great minds get together, you find a solution, right? Now, also, how many times have you been warned about some of your friends?
Yeah, a lot.
Have you been warned by some of
now,
your friends?
Like, hey, I don't like those friends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now,
I think
they say counsel. Counsel, that's your immediate place for advice or generating ideas. Your friends, your family. This is why we always put foot on neck on you guys about your choice of friends. Because there and then, at that point in time, they are your counsel. So what are you relieving yourself unto, and what are you getting back? Exactly.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Because you're right, the right friend group will give you the right outlets, but the bad friend group would give you, take this joint, take this, stuff, watch. It will help with a certain amount of time, but like long.
At that point in time, but it's straying you from
your purpose. This question goes directly to you can also answer as well, but how was it mentally, physically? How did it affect your relationships as well, being a young father?
Firstly, I didn't know I was going to become one.
So it shocked you.
But huge shock. And then to have twins on top of that was, it was falling.
Are you okay to say, like, how old were you when you...
So I was 21.
Oh, okay.
So, just finished school, got the freedom, thought, life is now my oyster. And I think I just forgot the teachings that my parents had taught me in that stage. Okay. And I had a good, support system. So I thought, I can do what I want. You know what I mean? So when it happened, it was a huge shock. I thought my mother would have my back, always. I thought, this is easy, let me do it. But then the sad reality was my parents were like, here you go. Yeah, you made this choice. You made your choice. And now you need to, I actually stopped my third year. I had to go start working immediately and then do third year while I was working. Yeah. And then that time, you're not earning enough. Now it's Pampers, it's everything. So it changed a lot. I would want to still be out with the boys because most of them didn't have kids. And then it was, hey, can I leave the child? No. It was, that's yours now. Wherever you go,
they go.
Those children go.
I think that's the discipline aspect of the teaching.
Of 100%. Because my parents could have just been on some, we'll take care of them. And I probably would have 6, 7 more children.
More, true.
You understand? So mentally it changed me because then I realized, what, these streets are not that important. Groove will always be there. Your friends will always be there. And it gave me that purpose. I won't lie. I finished my studies and I studied more. And now I can say, what, life is good. But now the stress is obviously maintaining and getting them ready for the next stage. But it makes it hard if you do it when you're young, gents. Don't do it before your time. I now understand why they say don't do sex before marriage. Because usually you only get married when you're ready. And usually you only get married when you're financially stable and so forth. You understand? So, as being a young dad, I've grown up with my children. That's one thing I can say. Literally grown up with them because I was a kid. So that has been cool because I beat all the dads at the father-dad races.
That's exactly props to money as well. Because you could have run away. You could have found ways to avoid it, but you stayed. Not a lot of males internationally are going to do that. Not even in South Africa or worldwide are going to stay to that commitment. They're going to find a way to make it easier.
Go buy milk.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to come back and not come back.
It goes down to your upbringing as well. The lessons that you would have learned from your parents. Because I had a similar experience to Mike's. My dad let me sink first and find my way to swim, right? And then only when he saw, okay, he can actually do it. That's when he started pitching in more and
to try to make it easier.
Yeah,
to now
try
make it
and
easier, yeah.
Because he needed to see first if I was mentally sound and mentally ready for what has now just happened.
Yeah.
You know, and he like, okay, head first wasn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. I also had to leave school, like, okay. Like, I thought I had a child. Now you made a child, so you're no longer a child. Go see something, Fethu. You know, I'm like, okay, sharp. I had to leave school, find a job. Luckily, I did. Luckily.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the thing. That's another thing I was thinking
Yeah.
about. I'm like, yo, it's God's blessing that he got a job at that time. You're
Exactly.
able to study. You know what I'm saying? And where you are now, exactly, like you're good. You're not dependent. You can confidently say you're independent, and that's a flex on its own. You know what I'm saying? So.
But I just want to throw something. As much as we're all men, my daughters are my crutch, boy. Those are my Achilles. Gents, I won't even lie, we're not vulnerable in a sense of crying or whatever, but we all know as dads, in here, your child. Yeah.
Damn. I don't know. Yeah, that's crazy.
That makes sense.
I've never
That's
We don't
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
say it. It's the actions around you.
100%.
Yeah.
Should you care to look, you would see. I get up every morning. I secure whatever I need to secure for you for the next chapter of your life.
The impact on us, well, not us,
In
Fathers,
general,
dads.
like the impact it has with not being a present
the
father.
absence. No, it's an absence.
Like the importance of having
The
a present
The
father.
present father, the
Yeah.
importance, but like in their absence, also what it does to like
A
the
child.
To
the
a
child,
child, yeah.
the individual dealing with the situation.
No, I can confidently say that I need a dad. Like, you know, I'm grateful that I have a dad in my life. I do have uncles and my grandfather, but having my dad, like how he is now, like his presence, it influences the way I am right now in front of all of you guys. Because now, if I didn't have a father, I wouldn't have character. Yes, I would know how to love people because I'll get that from my mom, but I wouldn't know how to deal with situations and character.
Yeah,
you know, I
true.
think that's what dads do. Dads give you the character and the way to deal with your problems and all of that.
Like the example you said, where like with dads, when you have a problem, come with the solution.
Yeah, like how you said
Whereas
earlier
your
on.
mom, you can just put the problems there.
And like for the kids that don't have a present father, I don't even know how to like comprehend the difficulty. Yes, you know, they'll get so much love and attention from their mothers, but then just having that male figure present in your life can go a long way.
Usually if there's no father, we usually tend to look at older friends or friends.
Yeah.
And then you need to hope and pray that that friend you're looking at has a father that's putting in the proper
Yeah,
discipline
father
and
figure,
stuff.
yes.
Father figure
Father
into it.
figure,
Yeah, for me, I feel like the importance of a father or having a father there is, like you say, it's that character building, it's that respect.
Solidity.
How you end up being able to deal with tough situations, you usually see it from your dad.
Yeah,
And then, like you say, your mother will teach you how to love.
yeah,
So that unconditional love that you hope to pass down to your child.
Yeah.
But then it makes it hard being a dad because you still need to be hard
Hard and big.
And
and still try.
Yeah.
I think I'm the luckier of the two of us. I can just go hard.
with boys.
I can just, because I rely on my partners to actually
To do the other part, exactly.
you see.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think I'm not as hard as I should be.
Okay.
is it because you don't see the results that you want to see, or from what you can see alone?
Yes, I am results driven, but the results are not coming fast enough. So then I need to check myself.
Your teaching system, yeah.
I need to check myself that what am I not doing efficiently or successfully enough to get the desired outcome. Results driven. Results driven.
So you also sometimes have that thing that says, they're not me. I feel like that's the hardest part of being a parent is
And then you
that
sit there like-
you look at them expecting them to be you. So you like, I would have been able to
so
figure this out. Why can't you?
Why
Yeah.
are you not? You
Yeah.
know, but like I said, we're learning still.
100%.
It's a long journey. We're learning still. Honestly, like children of today are absolutely amazing, and the amount of downloads their brains are just something else. I don't know if you've seen, like, look at us here right now, nah, with these amazing boys, and they just hitting us left, right, and center. I couldn't even keep up, you know. Now I have to go back home, look at my own son, and like, yeah, actually you do belong here, you know. So now I need, now I now need to go and adjust and try and re-administer the teachings. So,
that's what I was saying earlier on. Like now, you gotta hear from Boyz Aloud, like a mini young pockets of basically Andrew Tate's wisdom, but not Andrew Tate's wisdom, like a dad's wisdom. Why I say that is because now as I'm listening, I'm hearing that, you know, when I grow up, I need to make sure I still have ABC on my list that I haven't done yet, that I need to accomplish if I want to be a great father to my future children. And I'm learning that, you know, it's not easy. It looks easy, but hey, it's not easy. So it definitely goes up for the child that's watching that, hey, you know, these are things I wish I could talk about my dad, but like I'm hearing it from other dads as well. So this is how they're really feeling.
Yeah, so, but like they said, you'll get there. You know,
you will.
There's that maturity. It's like, okay, now you are kind of like man enough to talk to your dad, but right now you're still growing. So there's just certain things will be like, nah, you'll understand when you can.
You have to trip and
Makes
fall.
sense. Yeah.
You have to trip, fall, get up, brush it off, fall again, brush it, and then at the end, then you're like, okay, now I understand why I fell back there. But until you do that, no one's gonna tell you, hey, you're gonna fall there. You're probably gonna think, and you're still around.
Exactly.
Anyway. And then if you don't fall, then you're gonna look back and say, nah, you're talking nonsense. And that's usually what happens with parenting. Is your parents will say, don't swing on the counter, you're gonna fall, right? But now I've already changed your mind. Now you're careful because I've told you. Then you don't fall. Then you're like, you see, I wasn't gonna fall.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And then you're gonna take even higher risks because you think you can challenge authority.
100%.
Like the mindset
that's powerful.
The mindset I see a lot of, like with youth, is that nah, that's not gonna happen to me. I'm not gonna get a girl pregnant now. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm that guy. But then it actually happens.
To us as well.
It happened to us. So that's why I'm saying, like, I like what you mentioned, saying that, you know, they don't tell you that you're gonna fall, so that you think you're that guy until you fall and you realize that you're not that guy. You know.
Until it happens to you, you always think you have it under control. So that's where the lessons come in. Okay, go then. Go, and then when you fall, like,
But I think we hit it off though. We hit it off. I think we touched almost everything. Guys, you know what I'm saying? That's Boyz Aloud. With the timers on the show. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a month on back though. I definitely learned a lot of stuff. It changed my mindset though. But we appreciate you guys for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, y'all can like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Catch us on TikTok and the merch. I'm sure you guys are watching this video like, yo, this hoodie is hard. Where can I get this hoodie? Where can I get this hoodie? You can catch it on Boyz Aloud. You know, it even looks good for the timers. You know what I'm saying? So make it for everyone, bro. So we out.